This is High School Challenge, the varsity sport of the mind. Now, here's your host, Jim Gaber.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to more first-round action in this season's High School Challenge here at Michigan Television. Two terrific teams ready to play, so let's meet our players right away, shall we? First, from Linden High School, we have Kevin McCauley. Kevin is a junior, member of the Honor Roll, plans on attending Michigan State to earn a degree in History and Foreign Relations. Jacqueline Tennis is next. Jacqueline's a senior, secretary of the Student Council, plays softball. Member of the National Honor Society, plans on a career in engineering. Captain of the Linden team is Brittany Franskowiak. Brittany is a senior, president of the SAD chapter, a member of the National Honor Society, has an honor scholarship to the University of Pittsburgh, a National Merit semifinalist, and a Linden Academic Award winner for 3 years. Is looking to the University of Pittsburgh with a double major in biology and English for secondary education. And rounding out the Linden team is Zach Beauvais. Zach is a senior, plays football. He's the president of Student Council, also runs track. He's first-team All-State Quiz Ball, first-team academic All-State football, a National Merit Commended Scholar. Will attend the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor and major in nuclear engineering. Those are our players from Linden High School. We welcome all of them. And now we turn to our team from Mount Morris. There we have Carter Mauter. Carter is a junior, is on the tennis team, member of the Student Council, hopes to study history when he goes to college. Brian Bain is the captain of the Mount Morris team. Brian's a senior, plays soccer, basketball, and baseball, a 3-year academic letterman, member of the Honor Society, hopes to become a teacher, undecided on school right now. And Lauren Seal is a sophomore at Mount Morris, plays on the varsity tennis team, is a member of the Student Council, Greater Flint Youth Leadership Program, has been an all-A student since 5th grade. Midwest Talent Search from Northwestern University, has awards for high MEP scores as well. Plans on attending the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor or Northwestern University to study pathology and research. And rounding out the Mount Morris team is Stephen Reynolds. Stephen is a sophomore, plays football and baseball. He's active with Big Brother Big Sisters, a 3.8 GPA, and plans on a career in engineering. Those are our players for today's first round action in High School Challenge. As always, we are judged by Julie Pritchett of Genesee Intermediate School District. Our timekeeper, scorekeeper is Brandy Stoneman. Teams, we're ready to go. Here are your rules for round one. I'll ask you a series of questions worth 10 points apiece. The player buzzing first may answer when I recognize you. If you're correct, your team scores the 10 points. If you're incorrect, the other team gets a shot at the same question. Remember, you may interrupt me at any time I'm asking a question. No point penalties for incorrect answers. However, at that point, I'll repeat the entire question for the other team. Good luck. Here we go. Fisherman's Wharf, the Cable Car Barn Museum, and the Golden Gate Ferry. Zach Linden.
San Francisco, California.
That's correct. The Latin name of this genus and species might be loosely translated wise guy. What is Brittany Linden?
Homo sapien?
That's correct. In 1887, his brother was hanged for plotting against Tsar Alexander the Kevin Linden.
Vladimir Lenin?
That's correct. The trombone and tuba are wind instruments. To which group of instruments do the koto, the dulcimer, Zach Linden?
Stringed instruments?
That's correct. In physics, it's the force that opposes the relative motion of two bodies in contact. Zach Linden.
Inertia?
It's incorrect. In physics, it's the force that opposes the relative motion of two bodies in contact with each other. Automobile tires on pavement, for example. What is it? Lauren, Mount Morris?
Friction?
Friction is correct. Quote, to all whom these presents shall come, we the undersigned delegates of the states affixed our names and send greeting. End quote. This is the first line of the first Constitution of the United States. What was this, Kevin Linden?
Articles of Confederation?
That's correct. If you're tired of so-called reality TV, blame this show. TV's oldest reality... Brian Mount Morris. Say again?
Survivor?
It's incorrect. If you're tired of us so-called reality TV, blame this show, TV's oldest reality show, now in its 16th season on MTV. Zach Linden.
The Real World?
That's correct. I always thought this was the oldest reality show. In a satiric review of the 20th century, the New York Times Magazine described it as, quote, the most popular form of recreational suicide ever devised, end quote. What bad habit has the Surgeon General Zach Linden?
Smoking?
That's correct. In 2004, libraries and schools all over the country celebrated the 100th birthday of this doctor, born Theodore Geisel. Zach Linden.
Dr. Seuss?
That's correct. It's the only integer which cannot be the denominator of a fraction. What is it? Zach Linden.
0?
0 is correct. In George Orwell's Animal Farm, Napoleon and Snowball are pigs. What kind of animal is loyal, hard-working Zach Linden?
Horse?
That's correct. The Russian title Tsar and the German title Kaiser were very Zach Linden.
Caesar?
Caesar's correct. It's an unexpectedly busy place with the global survivor overhead, Spirit and Opportunity inching around, and everyone looking for Beagle 2, the climate orbiter, and polar lander. What is this otherwise deserted planet? Zach Linden.
Mars?
That's correct. The official title of this 1999 movie is Star Wars Episode 1. Kevin Linden.
The Phantom Menace?
That's correct. By refusing to use completely recycled paper, Scholastic Books killed an estimated 300,000 trees with its first printing of this book. What was this 2005 bestseller, the sixth? Brittany Linden.
Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
That's correct. At 2 a.m. on the last Sunday in October, DST becomes EST. What's Zach Linden?
Daylight Savings Time?
That's correct. This long scientific classic has been summarized into two short couplets. All creatures strive, the fit survive. Out of this surge, species emerge. What is this 1859 treatise by Charles Linden Brittany?
On the Origin of Species?
That's correct. It stands 300 meters tall in the Champ de Mars and was designed for the Paris World's Fair of 1889. What is Brittany Linden?
The Eiffel Tower?
That's correct. It secretes a half a dozen hormones, including ACTH, TSH, and FSH. What is this gland at the bottom of your brain? Kevin Linden?
The pituitary gland?
That's correct. Next toss-up teams. A corruption of Bayuk, the Choctaw word for creek. A corruption of Bayuk, the Choctaw word for creek. This word refers to the swampy slope. Zach Linden.
Bayou?
Bayou is correct. In 2004, one day after George W. Bush said he'd make health care more affordable for low-income Americans, the Department of Health and Human Services announced the largest ever premium increase in this program. Kevin Linden.
Social Security?
It's incorrect. In 2004, one day after George W. Bush said he'd make health care more affordable for low-income Americans, the Department of Health and Human Services announced the largest ever premium increase in this program. What program provides medical care for people over 65? Lauren, Mount Morris?
Medicare?
Medicare is correct. It's the interest rate banks charge their best commercial customers. What is this economic indicator controlled by the Federal Reserve Board? Time's up. It would be the prime lending rate or prime interest rate. Next toss-up. The bank clerk Krogstad, the lawyer Torvald Linden Brittany.
A Doll's House by Henrik Ibsen?
That's correct. One of the islands of the British Commonwealth is more than twice as large as Great Britain itself. What is this Canadian island? Lauren, Mount Morris?
Prince Edward Island?
Prince Edward's incorrect. Linden? Linden, Kevin?
Greenland?
Also incorrect, Baffin Island. It's actually the 5th largest island in the world. It's that thing that hangs from the roof of your mouth at the back of your throat. What is this extension of the soft palate? Lauren, Mount Morris?
What is a uvula?
Uvula is correct. I love it when you mistake me for Alex Trebek. That's kind of neat. Your next toss-up. In 1931, the Japanese occupied this region of North... Kevin, Linden.
Manchuria, China?
That's correct. In French, au revoir literally means until the next seeing. What German phrase has the same meaning? Jackie, Linden.
Auf Wiedersehen?
That's correct. The Pleistocene epoch and the Thank you for the bell. I didn't have to pronounce the rest of those words. We're at the end of round 1. Mount Morris, you trail at this point, so you get the first crack at our 60-second round. I'm about to give you a choice of 3 categories. Once you've selected, you'll have 60 seconds to answer up to 10 questions in that category. Remember, you may consult during this round. You don't need to buzz in. I'll take answers from Brian, the team captain. If you don't know an answer, you must say pass before I move on. You'll score 10 points for each correct answer, a 20-point bonus if all 10 are correct. Once your 60 seconds is up, Mount Morris. Linden, you'll have 30 seconds to answer anything they missed, passed on, or didn't get to. Mount Morris, your choices for today's game are a hunka potpourri, Names in the News 2004, or Artistically Speaking.
Names in the News.
Okay, for better or worse, their names were in the news in the year 2004. We're ready for 10 points each. Identify these men and women, beginning with number 1. In June, this former U.S. president died at the age of 93.
Ronald Reagan.
That's correct. I need answers from Brian, please. In September, this former U.S. president underwent quadruple bypass surgery.
Clinton.
That's correct. In December, this national security advisor became Secretary of State.
Greenspan.
Incorrect. In November, this leader of the Palestinian Liberation Organization died.
Yasser Arafat.
That's correct. He was the Democratic nominee for president in 04.
John Kerry.
Correct. In 2004, they included Charlie, Francis, Ivan, and Jean. Just ask anyone in Florida.
Pass.
In March, to no one's surprise, he was re-elected president of Russia.
Putin.
I'll accept that. In May, almost 10 years after the Oklahoma City bombings, he was found guilty.
McVeigh.
Incorrect. Her reinvention tour was the top-grossing concert tour of 2004.
Pass.
Yeah, that's it. You got through 9 out of the 10, and let's see, you have 5 correct for 50 points. Linden, you'll have 30 seconds once we're set. Remember, these are names in the news from the year 2004. And there's the 30 seconds from the top. In December, this national... That's correct. In 2004, they included Charlie...
Hurricanes?
That's correct. In May, almost 10 years after the Oklahoma City bombing...
Nichols?
That's correct. Her reinvention tour
Madonna?
was... That's correct. In July, this former Enron chairman was indicted on criminal charges.
Lay?
That's correct. 5 points on your side as well, Linden. And now your choices are hunka potpourri or Artistically Speaking.
We'll take potpourri.
Okay. Here's a big hunk of questions about a variety of people, places, and things. Starting at the top, in the novels of J.R.R. Tolkien, what kind of creatures are Frodo?
Hobbits?
That's correct. It's the number of continents and traditionally number of seas.
7.
That's correct. What is the most recent cabinet position to be created?
Homeland Security.
That's correct. Who said that's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind?
Armstrong.
That's correct. He played the Grinch in the 2000 movie.
Jim Carrey.
That's correct. What common raw material used for making glass?
Silicate.
Silicate.
It's incorrect. What automobile company makes the Aviator and the Navigator?
Lincoln.
That's correct. What organ in your body secretes bile?
Liver.
That's correct. Who married Mr. Rochester in Charlotte Bronte's novel?
Jane Eyre.
That's correct. In what state is Appomattox Courthouse where Lee surrendered to Grant in 1865?
Virginia.
That's correct. That's 10, and we'll give you 9 out of 10. Mount Morris, you have 30 seconds to come up with the one they did not get. What common raw material is used for making glass?
Sand.
That's correct. That's what I'll accept. And that brings us to the end of round 2, our lightning round. A lot of points scored there. It'll take us just a moment to total everything up. And before we get all those totaled up, I'm going to take just a moment to introduce you to some important people from Linden High School. Linden High School's academic team is coached by Dan Schneider and Bethany Rogulski. Alternates with the team today include Amber DeGainer, Joe Mail, and Claire Conley. We welcome all of them. We hope to welcome you back for some extra credit in just a moment, right after this. Welcome back, everyone. We're just about ready to go after a little extra credit on today's high school challenge, but first let's meet some very important people from Mount Morris High School. The Mount Morris team is coached by Rick Pack and Krista Polinsky, and now we want to meet their 4 alternates: Karine Culp, Angela Judd, Alexandria Webb, and Holly Ostrom. We welcome them, and we welcome you back for our extra credit round on today's competition. Teams, the rules on toss-ups are the same as they were in round 1. The difference here is that your team will score not only 10 points, but also a shot at 10 points worth of extra credit for correct answers. I remind you, you may consult on extra credit questions, not on the toss-ups. When the bell sounds at the end of the game, we will play through an entire toss-up extra credit cycle before the game's officially over. Here we go with your first toss-up. From Basel to Strasbourg, to Mannheim, to Mainz, to Wiesbaden, to Koblenz, to Bonn, to Cologne, to Dusseldorf. Down what great European river are you traveling? Linden, Kevin.
The Rhine River.
The Rhine River is correct. Linden, 'tis better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. What Victorian poet laureate first said so in his 1842 poem, Locksley Hall?
Wordsworth.
Wordsworth?
Tennyson is the correct answer. Here's your next toss-up. In her autobiography, Norma McCorvey writes about her role in this landmark 1973 Supreme Court decision. Zach, Linden.
Roe v. Wade.
That's correct. Linden, chartered by Charles II in 1670, it remains one of Canada's largest businesses. What is this company named for the region where it was established?
Hudson Bay Company.
Hudson Bay Company?
That's correct. Your next toss-up, teams. In The Merchant of Venice, she is a fair and virtuous lady of Belmont who marries Bassanio. In Julius Caesar, she is the true and honorable wife of Brutus. What name is she, Stephen, Mount Morris?
Portia.
Portia is correct. Mount Morris, in Marxist theory, it is the class opposed to the proletariat in an inevitable class struggle. What did Marx call this middle class? Answer, please. No answer?
No.
Time's up. Bourgeoisie is the answer. Here's your next toss-up. He ruled England for 10 years, but spent less than a year at home. Most of the time, he was away at war, the Third Crusade, for example. Kevin, Linden.
Richard the Lionheart.
That's correct. Linden, he created 25 bronze sculptures and more than 2,000 paintings and drawings, most of them of cowboys on horseback.
Remington.
Who was this artist?
Remington. Frederick Remington.
Remington?
That's correct. Quote, whoever wins, we lose, end quote. That was the tagline for this 2004 movie, also known as A.V. Zach, Linden.
Alien versus Predator.
That's correct. Seems like it took you a long time to get that. Here's your extra credit. In 1816, he became chief and created the Zulu Empire, defeated by the British in 1879. Who was this first great king of the Zulus?
No answer.
No answer. Shaka, or Chaco. Next toss-up. His costume is made from turkey feathers, dyed yellow, of course. Who is this? Kevin Linden.
Big Bird?
You better get it. Linden, AB is the diameter of a circle whose center is at point 20. The coordinates of A are 0, -2. What are the coordinates of B?
Yeah, 4-2.
4-2.
That's correct. Here's your next toss-up team. She became queen when she was 18 years old and ruled for 63 years. Jackie Linden?
Victoria.
Victoria is correct. Linden, for ancient Egyptians, a person consisted of a body, soul, name, and shadow, and a spirit double which left the body at death. What was that spirit called?
I don't know.
Go.
Ka.
That's correct. Your next toss-up. It has an area about 1/3 the size of the United States and 3 times as many people, more than 1 billion. Brittany Linden?
China.
Incorrect. It has an area about 1/3 the size of the United States and 3 times as many people, more than 1 billion. What is this Asian country? Mount Morris, Brian?
India.
India is correct. Mount Morris, between 1821 and 1877, it was ruled by 2 emperors and enough dictators, presidents, and governors to average a new government every 9 months. What Latin America country was it? Answer, please. No answer. Mexico is the correct answer. Here's your next toss-up. Quote, Mr. Jones of the Manor Farm had locked Brittany Linden.
Animal Farm by
That's
George
correct. Linden, this great epic of India is the story of a great war between 2 great families. In fact, Maha is the Indian word for great. What is this Sanskrit poem?
Matarahi.
It's not quite close enough. Mahabharata is the correct answer. Your next toss-up teams. Alexander the Great, Benjamin Franklin, Jules Verne, Jane Austen, Sigmund Freud, Dr. Seuss, and Neil Armstrong. Where will you find craters named for these people? Brittany Linden.
The moon.
The moon is correct. Linden, this is yours. Founded in 1865 as the East London Revival Society, it changed its name in 1878. What militant religious organization was founded by General William Booth?
Salvation Army? Yeah, Salvation Army.
The Salvation Army.
That's correct. Your next toss-up teams. In 1996, he finally made it to the World Series after 4,272 games as Zach Linden.
Rifkin? Cal?
That's incorrect. Good try. In 1996, he finally made it to the World Series after 4,272 games as a player and manager. The longest drought in Major League Baseball history. Who took home the trophy as manager of the New York Yankees? Brian Mount Morris. Joe Torre is correct. Mount Morris, the TVA is created, Prohibition is repealed, Adolf Hitler becomes chancellor. What's the year? Answer, please.
1930.
1933. That's the correct answer. Here's your next toss-up. In 1928, he promised Americans a chicken for every pot in a car. Kevin Linden.
Hoover?
Hoover is correct. Linden, here's a math problem that really doesn't require much math. If you were to compute 20 factorial, how many zeros will be at the end of your product?
Oh, wait. Oh, I guess 1.
1.
4. 4. The correct answer. Here's your next toss-up. There are 2 cups in a pint. How many cups are in a gallon? Zach Linden.
16.
16 is correct. There's the bell. You do get the extra credit question. Some psychologists have suggested that the anxiety experienced by executives and emergency workers be considered a kind of PTSD, similar to that suffered by war veterans. What does PTSD stand for?
Post-traumatic stress disorder.
That's correct. And with that, now the bell does mark the end of the game. A well-played game indeed. To Mount Morris, congratulations on a game well played. Good luck in your future competitions throughout this academic season. To you, Linden, we'll see you back here shortly for more High School Challenge. We also hope to see you back here shortly for more High School Challenge. Until then, I'm Jim Gaver. Good day.